Father's Day. We often celebrate Father's Day with smiles, a brand new tie, a lot of thank yous. But for thousands of dads, the day also comes with a heavy burden. New data is out showing paternal postpartum depression is more common than a lot of people realize, and too many fathers suffer in silence. To get more insight on this, let's welcome Dr. David Levine to Mornings on 2 to 9. Dr. Levine, thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You know, this really sounds strange to me. I'm a father of 3, but I never had postpartum that I knew of. Basically explain what postpartum is.
So postpartum is just the time after a child's born. The depression or the anxiety or what are known as perinatal mental health disorders, they can occur in any parent that takes care of a child, but fathers are the ones that suffer in silence. A lot of people know about moms, but they just don't know that fathers can suffer, and they can suffer at higher rates than 1 in 10 if their spouse is suffering as well.
You know, one thing I do know, a lot of times fathers just also feel left out because all of the attention when a new baby comes is on the baby and on mom. And nobody thinks about dad.
Yeah, I mean, we are very important, and sometimes we also minimize our own importance. Just because we're not nursing doesn't mean that we can't do other things. For many dads, the act of becoming a father can sometimes feel unnatural the way that can be for moms. And we don't have a lot of the resources or the knowledge base that we want. And our generation of dads, I mean, my generation, I have an 11 and 7-year-old, we want to be more attentive, we want to be more involved, and sometimes we struggle and we need some help. But the truth is that we're not alone and that there's help out there.
Yeah, I remember when my first child came along, I didn't even know how to hold the baby. Most men don't really know what to do. So how do you help them get started in dealing with postpartum and all the other emotional things we go through?
So first, as a pediatrician, whenever I see the parents for the very first time, I immediately tell them this could happen. Now, it happened to me, and I am unique in that way that I can speak from lived experience. But I try my best to destigmatize immediately. And I tell them this can be tough. This is not an easy thing to raise a baby. And sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, most of the time we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into, even though we really want to be parents. And so it starts with explaining it. It starts with destigmatizing it. It starts with also explaining what it can look like, so that way the dad can understand what might be happening to him, and their spouse might be able to recognize when they're seeing it in their partner.
So put a face on it. What does that depression look like? So there may be a dad out there watching us right now saying, hey, is that me? What does postpartum look like?
So I could tell you what it looked like to me, and what turns out was pretty common. It was a lot of irritability. It was anger, in my case, directed at the child. I felt a sense that he didn't love me, or that he wasn't responding well to me, or that there was something wrong with him. I was not tearful. I was not emotional. I was not what you would expect somebody who's anxious or depressed to look like. Many dads will start to work later. They will take on more responsibilities. Anything to avoid being around the child can be a sign that they are depressed. It could also be sleeping less. Like, you know that there's so many things that happen when you become a new dad that can seem normal, but it gets a little bit more out of control, and it sometimes can cause the parent, the father, to bottom out.
And then that leads to a guilt trip. You feel guilty for feeling that you feel that way as well.
Even worse, you feel shame. And
Shame.
with guilt, you can feel like I made a mistake. I can do better. With shame, you actually feel like you are the problem, that you have failed. And a lot of dads feel like, look, we want to be there for our wives, our partners, our children. And when we feel like we're not doing that, we can feel a sense of letting them down. And when you feel shame, you do not get help. If you feel guilt, you might be able to say like, oh, I can fix that. Feel shame, you might not be able to do anything. And then it just gets worse.
That's interesting. So, Doc, how do you turn it around? Is it through medicine? Is it through counseling? How do you turn it around?
It could be either, but first is knowing that this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Second is knowing where you can go to get help. And there are so many good resources that are available today that weren't even available to me 10 years ago when I was going through it. There's websites, there's postpartum.net, which is the website of Postpartum Support International, which has tons of information on fathers. There's free fathers chats. There's a free helpline that anybody can connect to at 1-800-944-4773. And there's a Connect by PSI app that's also free that can at least it can get things going for a family who's suffering and can get help. The most important thing that dads need to know is you can get help. This can get better. I have a good relationship with my kids, and they will never have any idea about how hard it was for me when they first started out.
Because they know you love them. Dr.
And
David,
I put the effort in.
Yes, and you put the effort in. There is hope, yes. Dr. David Levine, thank you for joining us here on Mornings on 2 to 9. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. All right.